everyone, and welcome to Don't Read the Comments. This is a very impromptu, completely unscripted piece I'm putting together in my lunch hour, actually, because when I started work this morning, news came through that the ABC presenter here in Sydney, here in Australia, James Valentine, had passed away, and people who have listened to the Doctor Who show for a while and follow us on YouTube perhaps may have seen my little documentary. I call it a documentary. I guess that's what it is. But it seems such a highfalutin term for it, which is about me appearing on the afternoon show, which was a show on ABC TV here in Australia in the afternoons, funnily enough, hosted by James Valentine back in the 80s. And before episodes of Remembrance of the Daleks went out in the 25th year of Doctor Who, there was a Doctor Who quiz. And I was one of the contestants on it, along with members of my local Doctor Who group. Kate Orman, the author, although she wasn't Kate Orman, the author then, she was Kate Orman, the fan fiction writer, and so on. And so I actually got to meet James Valentine back in the early part of his career. And I thought, what a lovely guy. And he was the guy who handed me the Five Doctors on VHS as my prize for being on the show. And I have all these great memories of the day, which are in that little video piece. And if you'd like to go and watch it, please do. But I'm not here to spruik that. I'm here to talk about how James Valentine was a big deal. And a lot of Australians are seeing that with the coverage, particularly here in Sydney, but on a lot of the national websites as well. He was well known, and it's very sad that he has passed from cancer. He went through with some voluntary assisted dying, as it's known, because his cancer had basically run its course, and he went out on his own terms, which is quite admirable. And because we've already recorded this Sunday's episode, there would be no mention of any of this on the episode. So I thought, well, the best thing I can do is pull out a Don't Read the Comments episode and talk a little about him. So I've got some Facebook posts I'll read in a moment, as is the style of this format. But before I do, I just want to say that, you sometimes feel very connected to the place you live in my case, Sydney, through different things. Things will happen and it just makes you feel very connected to a place. Like there might be a big thunderstorm and you think, oh, that's a really big Sydney thunderstorm. Or you would turn on the radio and you would hear a voice like James Valentine. There are other broadcasters like him. You hear their voice and you think, yeah, this is part of the wallpaper. This is part of being a Sydney-sider. This is just very comfortable slippers. This is quite right. I can think of driving along in Sydney, warm summer day maybe, and hearing James Valentine on the radio, and just feeling that this is how it had always been and how it would always be. Of course, things do change. So I just wanted to say that as a preamble to reading these comments on Facebook. And again, I appreciate that this is maybe a very Sydney story first and Australian story second, and many of our overseas listeners would have no idea who I'm talking about, unless maybe they'd watched that video and seen some of the clips of him I'd put in it. But I felt this was very important to make. A great broadcaster has left us, and it does play into my personal Doctor Who story, if I can call it that, my journey, as some people might call it. Yeah, look, this was very unscripted. I just wanted to make something, and let's read some comments. Caroline Meadley says, such a gem of a human. On days when I was off work, I always looked forward to afternoons. It was such a treat. A very sad day. Heartbroken but grateful for James's many blessings. My deepest condolences to his family and his ABC colleagues and friends. Sam Jones, such a radio icon, loved listening to his show, smart, funny and engaging. He is already missed, sending condolences to his family too. Annette Snars, I met James when I was a pink lady at Westmead Kids Hospital. He did his radio show there and I took some of the older children to listen and participate. he would chat with them all, and I would get to chat with him too. Gentle, kind, sympathetic, and very personable. What a loss to our community and our world his passing is. Thanks, James, and my loving thoughts to your family. We will miss you terribly. Laurie Miller, a friend to so many on the airwaves. He was a rare gem. Genuine, funny, warm, and so easy to listen to. Feel deeply for his family. Rest in peace, Mr. Valentine. Thank you for being you. And Hamish Finlay, I confess this news has broken my heart. James Valentine's presence was a constant throughout my life. As a child, I appreciated his wit as a host on the afternoon show, as he provided quality programming, including my beloved Inspector Gadget and Danger Mouse. And later, I came to appreciate him as one of the best radio presenters of our time. His ability to disseminate complex issues in a simple fashion, blended with humour and an always comforting tone, was the mark of a gifted host. Truly, we have lost one of the greats. Wale. And they go on. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of comments all in this vein here. So, although this isn't the usual thing we do on Don't Read the Comments when I do one of these episodes, I, again, just thought it was very important to say something rather than have Sunday's episode go out with no mention at all of this, given how, again, important he was to my Doctor Who story, but the Doctor Who story of fans who were watching Doctor Who in the late 80s here in Australia. If you were watching the Sylvester McCoy era, you were watching it through the afternoon show. You were seeing James Valentine before each episode, do some sort of little segment and then say, and now it's time for Doctor Who and let's watch the latest episode. And a lot of Doctor Who fans in Australia, across the country, will be thinking of him today because of that very connection. Even if they're in other states and they weren't listening to him on Sydney radio, they will be thinking of him today. So this is a big one for Doctor Who fans in Australia. And I hope this episode reaches all of you guys and we can all come together through his passing and just think about him for a while, because he was a cool guy. Really cool guy. Anyway, I'll get out of your ears now. Dave and I will be back on Sunday with a bigger, happier episode. But until then, I've been Rob, and this was Don't Read the Comments.
Don't read the comments. They say don't read the comments.